Thank you. Adúpẹ́ ẹ ṣé. Okay, tonight, as usual, this is Oluwabi or Abidbusi, depending on which page you're watching from. I really appreciate you. Omoya Jowo Adeshola, thank you so much. Ẹ ṣé adúpẹ́. God bless you. I am Oluwabi or Abidbusi, depending on which page you're watching me from. Maybe you are watching from Oluwabi or you are watching from Abidbusi. We are human beings, every one of us, we are human. So, and they said at times we propose and God dispose. It depends on how God wants his things. I want us to take time and be thinking about our lives, because we don't own our lives, we don't own ourselves. God that owns us, and he can say, come ye into the world, and he can say, oh my child, it is time for you to come back to me. So God can bring to life at any time, and God can take life anytime. We have to keep thinking about that. So though we don't pray to go early, and we don't pray to bury our children, but there are some things that are beyond us. So if anything happens, let us know that God is still on the throne. Kò yípo padà. We shall always continually, to ask for his mercy. Àánú Ọlọ́run á bá wa gbé. And ìfọwọ́ wa gbọ́mọ sí o. And for those people that are grieving at this particular time, I grieve with you all. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ ká rí nǹkan ìbànújẹ́ mọ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run. It's not everything we just have to, be saying online, but at the same time, we have to keep it at the back of our mind that anything can happen to anybody at any time. We do not pray for bad things. But bá ṣe sọ pé sánmọ̀ kò lè ṣe kí dúdú díẹ̀ kó má wà lójú sánmọ̀. So that is why we have to keep preparing. It can happen, and it can happen to anyone at any time. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ ká rí wàhálà, àní rí dààmú, àní nànà dànù lórí ọmọ, àní ṣe wàhálà lásán lórí ọmọ, lórí àwa pàápàá, àní ṣe láìsàn, àìsàn tó máa ń ṣèyàn. There are some sicknesses or ailments that will make someone to spend money, and after spending every dime, the person will still die, right? It doesn't mean that maybe the person have offended God or something has happened or something. It is however God wants it. That is why he is an unquestionable man. You cannot question him. So I grieve with people that are grieving right now, and we pray that affliction will not rise again. In Jesus' name. Thank you. I remain Oluwabi or Abidbusi. The show must go on. Àbí bẹ́gbẹ̀gbẹ̀rún èèyàn bá kú Sátidé, àwa yin Olúwa lákọ̀ọ́ níjọ́ Sunday. Kò sí nǹkan tá a fẹ́ ṣe sí. Àwọn kankan wà tó jù wá lọ táàrí. Kò sẹ́ni tó gungi tó rí òpin ayé rí. Nobody can see that. So adúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run, ọpẹ́ náà la máa dá. Ọlọ́run ò ní jẹ́ adúpẹ́ tipátipá. So I thank you everybody for having me tonight. As usual, I am Oluwabi, as I said earlier, or Abidbusi. Thank you so very much. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Please keep sharing. Share and share and share. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Let's keep sharing. Anuluawa Kweluwa. Yeah, I have mentioned some people's name, like I have acknowledged them. Let me still acknowledge Ola Osho, Christiana Wuraola, Kenny Onifade Oshibeluwo, Lawal Sekinat Banke. Thank you so much. God bless you. Adeyanju Adebayo Omolara Kadri. Thank you. Bolanle Ogunbanjo Tamunokombia. Thank you. Shubawale Deborah Folake. Thank you. Adeyinka Ronke Oredeyin. Thank you, my sister. God bless you. Eshe Mudupe. God bless you. So tonight we are talking about teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy. There was a time we spoke about unwanted pregnancies, right? But today we are talking about the teenage pregnancy. There are differences between unwanted pregnancies and teenage pregnancies. Unwanted pregnancy can happen to anybody, even if you're in a marriage, if you're in a relationship, if you are even at advanced age, it can happen. Something you never bargained for, something you never expected. But I still keep telling people that anytime you are with a man and you are doing the do, definitely there must be an outcome. It's just like you writing an exam, but you don't want to listen to the result of the exam, or you don't want to see the result of the exam. Is that possible? Either you pass or you fail, you are still going to see the result of the exam. So if you are doing the do, definitely something must come out of it. Adeleke Omobolanle, thank you so much, my sister. God bless you. So whether we like it or not, it's still going to happen like that. So if you are doing the do, anytime it can happen. But when we talk about unwanted pregnancy, teenage pregnancies, that means it occurs for a woman who is under age 20. Definitely between age 13 and 19, so to say, like Aboyade Feishayo Olaleye. Thank you, ma. So it's between 13 and 19. Those are the teenage ages. So those are the teenage times, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. So that is why we call it teenage pregnancy. So the difference between teenage pregnancy and unwanted pregnancy, as I said the other time, and I said I don't call it unwanted pregnancy. We can say unexpected pregnancy because God knows how He designs His stuff. And most times those children we call unwanted pregnancies, most of them are always the pillar in that household. They become pillars at the end of the day. Not that other children will not do well, but most of them are doing exceptionally well and better than others at times. You understand? That's why I don't call them unwanted pregnancies. I call them unexpected miracles. So that is it. Adeleke Omobolanle, Iyabo Adekafaya to Jikutu. Thank you so much, my sister. God bless you. Iyabo, expect my text message very soon. I'll reach out to you. Bosa Adekayode Adeniyi, thank you so much. God bless you. Who else? Grace, Glory Grace Omoyemi. Thank you so much for last Thursday. It was a blast. It was a blast. So thank you. So I've spoken about unwanted and unexpected, right? So like something you weren't expecting it, but yes, it came. I call them unexpected miracles. Yes, unexpected miracles. So when those are the unwanted pregnancies. That's what I said. I call unexpected miracles. But when we say teenage pregnancies, that is between ages 13 and 19. So that is it. There's one thing I want us to understand, right? According to culture, especially we in Africa, the Yorubas, and according to even, let me say, biology, I would say, I'm not condemning teenage pregnancy. Don't misunderstand me. But I would say rather there are too early pregnancies, right? That comes earlier than the time they're supposed to come, right? So those are the ages between age 13 and 19. And then this pregnancy, this time, I believe they face a higher risk. No pregnancy that does not have its own risk, right? It depends on the nature of the pregnancy, the nature of maybe the carrier, or even at times it might even be the sender, the shooter. That is the man, right? So it can even be the nature of the environment. So it depends. Anything can affect a pregnancy. But at the same time, when we say teenage pregnancy, they face a lot, they are at higher risk for most of these issues. You know why they are at higher risk? You know, let me say, maybe because of age. It's just like having a child that you're expecting to start seeing first, then to start spitting before they start teething, before they say we want to sit down, they want to crawl, they want to walk, they want to start running. But suddenly you give birth to a child that same day, and that child starts walking that same day. Would you rather call that a miracle or a mysterious child, right? Oh, and that is it. Everything has its own process, right? It has to be step by step, one time, one step after the other. You first put one leg and feel how it is before you dip the other leg. You don't put the two legs at the same time. So that's why we say most of these teenagers, they are at higher risk. Especially, you know, in the olden days, the food we used to eat, we had to think of Jensen. Most of these foods we are eating now, they are processed food. Most of them are not organic anymore. They have been tampered with. Yeah. So now tell me, the immunities of everybody has changed because OT, they have tampered with everything. Initially, they will say, when you eat very well, you won't have any issues, you know. Medically, you'll be fit, you know. Okay. But nowadays, the havoc food have already caused is so much that the food that we used to say it cures this, it cures that, and now the one causes many of these ailments if we don't take time and if we are not careful of the way we put food in our mouth and what we put in our mouth. So when I say teenage pregnancy, they are at higher risk of so many things, right? There's what we call eclampsia, right? Eclampsia, you know, I remember when I was when I started having children, somebody was talking about it that day. I was like, oh, you know, like the person was older. It can happen to someone older than childbearing age, but if it happens in younger age, mostly it happens to teenagers, right? So mostly it happens to teenagers. So I believe why they are facing all those things is like their body are not ripe, or they are not strong enough for some of the things happening to them. It's just like a child still growing, puberty, or teenage age. Some of them don't even start menstruation on time. I remember our own time, at times 14, 15, 16. Some I know of people that started menstruation at 17. Right. But nowadays, a child of 9 can even start menstruation because of the food they are eating and the exposure they have, right? It's not like as it used to be. So it's like they are growing faster and getting things done earlier than it used to be. So it's just like the body preparing for motherhood at a tender age. You understand? So they said, yes, the Northerners, they used to do it right from the onset. And that is why I remember those days. A man, woman, we used to look at them that they didn't give their teenage girls time to build themselves, to be teenagers, that they rush them into marriage. And at the end of the day, a lot of things happens to them. We do see them now. We do see them. We do see what happens to them. And most of these children don't grow with love. They don't have love because they see men in another way, because they were brutally attacked. You know, it wasn't their consent. Mostly their parents just planned their lives like that, right? It's happened mainly in the north then. But nowadays, that you see some children, because they have grown so well, you will say, oti dagba. Until when you ask the age, they will be telling you, almost 13 years ni, almost 14 years ni, and yet she's a mother, right? I'm like, almost 14 years, can a 14-year-old child be a mother? A child having a child, you understand? You're having 2 children at the same time. That is just it. When a child is having a child, to me, both of them are children, and then that is when you see them playing in the mud. And where is their mother gone? Moldy, because the time she was supposed to act like a child, they didn't allow her to act like a child. OCD, with her children, all of them will be playing with sand together, and that is it. So there are so many ailments. I'll just mention a few of them, right? Because I'm not a health practitioner, I'm not a nurse, I'm not here to dig in deep into all those things, but I'm just going to talk about basic things and just touch some stuff so that we can see, yeah, baby, and that is it. And somebody was telling me one day that when she had her first child, that when she got pregnant with her first child, she didn't know it was pregnancy, right? She was just saying, my stomach was running up and down, because she didn't know what was going on with her. You understand what I'm saying? So she felt like maybe she was having constipation, or maybe she was hungry all the time because the child was rumbling in her stomach. Maybe normally when a child gets to a certain stage, they will start rolling, moving about. So she started feeling it. She thought it was normal. So one day she said she was just telling her mom, said, "Mommy, idodo mi roju." Now, idodo mi roju, like her navel, the belly button, was you know, when something was getting bigger, so it was bulging like otobisi. So she was not asking that, idodo mi roju, mommy, you know me wá ṣe gbùrùgbùrù bí ìgbà tí ebi ń pa mí all the time. Say the mother didn't take her serious. The mother just said, ebi ń pa ẹ́ nìyẹn. Tó bá ti ní ká ìgbàwẹ̀ náà lebi mama pa. All the days we ask you to fast, that is when you remember you are ebi ń pa ẹ́ kìnìkan. Then you will break at so time. So later she said she was telling the mom that she wasn't feeling comfortable. So the father now said, are you not a mother? Your child was complaining that, why don't you go and see her and everything? Meanwhile, the father was always asking the mom, she did it once or twice and stop. You know that thing used to happen like that. You will do it once or twice and it will stop. Then it will later come back. Not knowing So said the mother now said, let me see. When the mother opened her stomach, the mother now screamed and said, what is it? That, do you know that line of this thing, umbilical cord between you and the child? You know there's a line that will show. And the mother was like, Kilele. And I say, it used to be here. Now it's going up like this. Hey? The mother now screamed. They took her to the hospital. Lo and behold, she was like almost 6 months gone. And the mom was screaming, Ninu Lemi, Laberu Lemi, how come? How did I do it? Why didn't I notice? This and that. She wasn't vomiting, she wasn't stooling, she wasn't doing anything. Maybe Lologoji. Maybe because she was younger anyway. And then she didn't know the meaning. And everything like that. And that was how she had a child. She was 14, going to be 15. Right. And that was how she became mommy. And she said she was in GS3 or so, whether 2 or 3, I've forgotten that time. So now what am I trying to say is a lot of things are attached to pregnancies, right? And that is why a lot of things is happening around the world. Let us keep watch, right? Then maybe from there we will learn one thing or the other for ourselves. So when they say eclampsia, that is a sudden high blood pressure, because the child was not prepared. You know, if you are at advanced age, you would have been prepared mentally. Okay, definitely a child should come any moment from now. So it's like you were preparing to miss your period. So if it comes like that, even if you're having issues, maybe only pregnancy issues, like maybe you're vomiting or anything, you joyfully, even with the pain and everything, joyfully you'll be saying, well, it's only meant for some months, then I'll be okay. And that is it. But as a child that was not prepared, that does not even know her left from her right, you understand? Anything can happen to her. Anything can happen to her because her body tissue, everything is not all that strong or all that ready. Fún gbogbo àwọn, it is done forcefully. You understand? When a child starts having sex at 12 or 13, definitely it is a forced, even if she onlowa fúnra or she's been pushed into it or whatever she's been done, this is like elasticity, and that is just it. So the child will be like forcefully don't grow láti the adult, and something that is supposed to come systematically, like gradually, and you do it with force, there will be lapses. A lot of things don't matter, and that is it. I remember that day, those days when they said that child had I think a set of twins or something like that. So they said she was so tender, they could not even suture her, that when she was walking, she was passing gas. So, and then anywhere she comes, there's a Sarah, you know, because the bladder, the womb, everything was so tender. Before they made her a woman at all costs. So she had to pay dearly for it. And a lot of children that were being married off, just like that, people just messed up their lives because many of them, apart from say they don't enjoy that kidney at the end of the day, because they didn't let them grow mentally, physically, they didn't let them grow psychologically, they did not grow. They are young, they are too young for what has happened to them. So ọmọ tó fi force be in pain, in agony. How do you expect her to pass love to that child? And that child will now grow and be a sadist. And what do you expect? These are all these things that are happening in the society. Olofa, pẹ̀lú oríṣiríṣi nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní society. And there is one thing they call systemic infection. Systemic infection too can happen. It's like it affects the entire body, like influenza, might be flu, and it's always in the bloodstream. So that is why àìsàn tó ń ṣe obìnrin lẹ́yìn ìbímọ, that they won't be able to diagnose exactly kí ló ń ṣe ní yìí. Today ara gbígbọ̀n ni o, orí fífọ́ ni o, èkíní kan ni o. The next thing, at times the child can die. That is, the mother of the child can die because kò tí gbó fún nǹkan tí ó expose sí. So ọmọ náà ṣe máa ń gbàdúrà pé àìsàn tó ń ṣe obìnrin lẹ́yìn ìbímọ kọ́lọ́run má jẹ́ ká rí, because they won't be able to say eléyìí ló ń ṣe. Tó bá ní orí fífọ́ lẹ́yìn tó gbé dání, tó bá dọ̀la ẹ̀dọ̀ dídùn látún gbé dání, tó bá tún dọ̀túnla ara ríro látún gbé dání. Ìyá ọmọlọ́mọ kàn jìyà lásán. Àlájì gẹ̀dẹ̀rẹ̀ á lọ fẹ́ lòmíì. Before you know it, the man too will go and marry someone else, and that is just it. Kọ́lọ́run ṣàánú wa kó má jẹ́ kí a rí wàhálà, and all those things. So when I say children are not prepared for it, mentally they are not prepared, physically wọn prepare, ara wọn gan ò tí grow débẹ̀. A child that is supposed to still be growing breast, ẹlẹ́ṣìmárélomi, they will say stop at 6 in the brain, because the time she was supposed to grow intellectually was the time she was forcefully being dashed pregnancy. Abi, not following. So she was forcefully gotten pregnant at that particular time. So she didn't have time to grow psychologically. She didn't have time to grow. Physically, ó máa kéré, body kìíní ẹ̀gan máa kéré ju bó ṣe yẹ kó rí lọ. At times we see them like big bodies, right? but what they have here, what they have here, what they have here, even ilé ọmọ, everything, ó kéré, ó sì kò tí strong, kò tí gbó, kò tí tó àsìkò. And some of them, bí tán ti ń labour, lẹ́lòmíì máa ń gbàbẹ̀ lọ. Àìmọye wọn. I remember when I was still in Lagos, a lot of them, ọmọ kékeré, ó máa di pé ó bí money, kíní kan ló ṣẹlẹ̀ dẹ̀ ń pàkó, ilé ọmọ ya kíní kan ṣe, because ọmọ yẹn kéré. And definitely a woman that is pregnant will always be treated like a woman. So wọ́n máa treat ẹ bí obìnrin náà ní bí àgbàlagbà. And before you know it, and before you know it, there morally kí ló ń jẹ́ moral, what ẹ̀yin tún yìnbọn sí lùrùlá, kí ló ń jẹ́ moral? They don't have it. Ṣọmọ tó ń ṣeré yẹ̀pẹ̀ ní morals. Maybe she was selling, buying, playing with sand. Ní bọ̀dá kìíní ní wá lọ bá mi ra bread wá. Tó bá ti gbédé kó lọ gbé sórí tébù mi nínú yàrá. Before you know it. Àbí the ones that the parents will say, mo mú ẹ lọ́dọ̀ ibì kan lọ́la, wọ́n ti fà fọ́kọ nìyẹn. So a lot of them no ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. You understand what I'm trying to say? A lot of them no ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀. So these children are having issues. Medically, a lot is going wrong. A lot is going wrong. Okay. Yes. So all these things, if it's somebody above 20, tó ti wọ 20, there is preparedness fún wọn wípé ara ti gbó sí, wọ́n ti gbọ́n sí, you know, and then ọ̀rọ̀ tí ẹ̀ ti lè yé wọn gan, they would have been able to understand some certain things. You as a person gan, you would have been able to explain some things to them in preparing them for the future, you know, for eventuality. This so and that. I remember those days, a lot of things don't fika Joe that we decoded them later on our own. They will tell you to bati joko tokun. Joko for work olóyún nìyẹn. We were always thinking that when a man touches you like this, ó ti lóyún. But wọ́n pé wá jókòó kan sọ fún wa wípé nǹkan báyìí ló ń doyún, ló ń fa oyún. But when we see a man, ó fẹ́ fún mi lóyún, èmi mo yá sá lọ. But nowadays, àwọn ọmọ ọ̀sìn, they know much more than what we use. Even tiawa tá jẹ́ àwọn gangba mi, when they tell you some stuff, you just open your mouth like, where did these children? They can see on the internet, they teach them at school, they discuss it. They don't see, they don't get shy. They research. Yes. They talk about it freely. Unlike our own days, your father will not be able to talk to you about some things. Your mother will even be shy. Come on, mama, for Josh, me. You understand? And all those things we are supposed to be telling them so that we will prepare them, and then when they see any sign, they will know how to act or what to do. Most of these children, we are living their lives for them. We are not preparing them for the future enough. Because they will face this and that, whether we like it or not. That is why most of them cannot condone pressure. Unlike our rugged during our time. You will go walk out from school to Ile. You know how many miles those days? With no shoe. How much more children of nowadays, we will take them from the house to church, to school, to mosque, to hairdresser, to clinic. We will monitor, this and that, and everything like that. We don't give them time to explore like children, to play, to act like children. Everything is being searched for on the internet. Anything. Even if you want to see how a child is being born, you will see it live and direct on the internet. We don't have time to sit them down, to talk to them. This is how to go about it. This is how to go about it. No, we don't have time. Yeah, because Emino said those girls are child in a grown-up lady body. Fine, because most of the food we are eating, according to what I said, most of them are processed foods. They are not natural foods like we used to eat those days. right? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I received the news today that it's not palatable at all. So I've not really been myself. I'm sorry. So, thank you, everybody. So most of these children, we don't prepare them down for all these things. So all the food we are giving them, even our will be gone, we don't have time to feed them. Mommy, I like okele. I want spaghetti. She loves spaghetti. She loves this. She loves that. She doesn't eat eba. She doesn't eat amala. Amala that we will eat eba. That we will eat. We will walk from Gates to Kiniko all those days. But nowadays, is if we are not eating chicken and peroro, we will eat chicken and perara. Everything, all these things, pizza, all those things, right? We are imbibing other cultures and neglecting our own culture. We are forgetting about it. We are not even talking about it. You understand? And that is it. It's really affecting us in every aspect of our lives, up to our children. And if we don't take time, it's going back to our grandchildren, great-grandchildren. Before we know it, there won't be even titidori language you are at his son. May God forgive us. So it's just too bad. Beans and bread. Some people ate. I don't like beans then. I don't really used to like beans. But amala, I could eat amala. I could eat rice. I could eat eba. I could eat other food, even fufu and all those things. But beans, especially if I now see weevil or all those kokoro, they see a boy, ewa is gone. So, but do we still get? Well, I can eat akara, moi moi, and all those ones, ekuru. But those days, but nowadays, do we still have time to even prepare? If we are not buying on the street, we will order. They will bring. So even our children don't even know how to cook it, even when the parents don't even have time to teach them anyway. So they have become Oyibos. Yes, they have all become Oyibos. We don't even teach them what we are supposed to be teaching them anymore. So may the Lord forgive us. So there's what they call permits me to bite my tongue in pronouncing this one. Feral endometritis, right? Emma, be me ba I just mentioned it anyway. I will tell you the meaning. Go and Google it. It's like postpartum infection. Like it happens to the uterus. What do they call uterus? So womb, ile omo. So when it's not enough, okay, when a child have a child, and you now go back to sand and be playing with sand, definitely there will be so many infections. Unlike our own time, boy, 20, 22, 25, you will be able to comport yourself. You will know that I just had a baby. I'm supposed to comport myself and sit not I will be going up and down, jumping like a monkey. And I will say, àwọn ọmọ kan ṣe retire ń bẹ yẹn ìyàwó tó bímọ dà iná mata and then jẹ́ kí gani mata ẹ wá wò ìyàwó ní ṣeré yẹpẹ ń tà and also like that. You understand what I'm trying to say? So before you know it, and she might not even bath when she's supposed to bath. No proper care, right? No body hygiene, and before you know it, infection will set in. And infection bá dẹ̀ ti wọlé after ọmọ bíbí normally lomi lábí sínwín. Some of them is not hereditary o. Ẹlòmíì kan kọlù lójijì, maybe because of the issues tó ní nígbà tó bímọ. So all these things, did we as parents prepare them? We don't have time to prepare them. Àwọn náà ti lé owó lọ. And then, do we even have time to monitor them, to caution them in the way they should go and how they should go? Do we teach them the word of God? Do we teach them about premarital sex? That no, don't allow anybody to touch you until your wedding day. Are we doing that? No, we don't have time. Owo. And I keep telling people at times, taba lé owó lọ ìgbà míì taba padà dé apá owó gan ní kan taba máa bá. It will be too overwhelming and we won't be able to cope. You understand? Because a lot of things would have been so messed up that Even you'll be looking at your child, say me mo de bi omo, say me mo de bi omo, you know, and everything like that. So we have to be very careful. When I say they are not mentally prepared, they are not physically prepared, they are not psychologically prepared. So all these things, they are supposed to be prepared by their immediate family, baba, iya, older siblings. You know, in the olden days, àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n, they can say, go to my sister's place. And then they say, okay, I've come to show you the man I want to marry. Okay, both of you sit down. They will give you lecture. How they did their own. Tí o fi wò, they will tell you. Your mother will tell you her own. Your aunties will tell you. Your uncles will tell you their own. You will now sit down. You are not going there to face the same type of exam because you are doing your question papers are different. What you are meeting in your own home is going to be different. But because you have learned and learned, you have heard so many things about marriage. You have prayed, you have read books, you understand, and you have gone for maybe counseling and stuff like that. Then you will be able to like comport yourself. Even if anything comes your way, you will know how to carry it. You will know how to act. You will not, you know, it won't be like omo kekere tí ò ní sense. You heard about your man having an affair. You don't do your proper investigation, nothing. The next thing, omo man who dogo oko ogedan kò ní ṣe sọ́n kò ní ṣe síbi àjọ máa wòra wa. Ṣé yẹn ni next thing? You can see the way they are thinking. Yeah? Meanwhile, nígbà àwọn bàbá tiwa, bàbá will just come and say, ìyá alágbájá lọ bomi ìwẹ̀ ìyàwó tuntun ti dé. She will still go and bomi ìwẹ̀. Right? Okay. But children of nowadays, can they condone those? Can they cope? No, they cannot. Yes, yeah, we don't fair. Okay, so we go and attack ìyàwó. Meanwhile, your husband that is doing kurukere up and down, that is community brand, you did not caution your husband. You will now want to go and caution the woman outside. The man might even have told the woman outside that me ìyàwó rí mi bí mọ́rí, because they don't write it on forehead of the men. But you as the woman, you now go àmà lé ti bí káàkiri pẹ̀lú ohun ìjà olóró oríṣiríṣi. But if you are a matured mind, I'm not saying matured minds who don't get jealous, but at least if you are a matured mind, say me too can't bow me well. That's why our mothers and our great-grandmothers, their marriage lasted 50 years, 60 years. May God help us. You cannot bow me well. I will see to that. No, all those things. So, all those things, do we have time for our children? Do we have the fine, we are looking for money everywhere. But do we have time for those children? We don't have time. We don't even prepare them for the society. We don't prepare them for what they are going to meet in the society. That is when you see children. When an adult will talk to them, they say, if you talk jazz, I'll give you Joes. But in the olden days, when they say, oh, Shiba, Emma Binuma, and the child will walk away. Though nowadays, because when you say you want to beru lori, to kidnap but at least there should be some sign of respect for adults. They don't have it because we don't have time to teach them and to show them. At times, it is what we tell them. It is not what we tell them that they practice, because they are seeing what we are doing, which is contrary to what we are telling them to do. So at the end of the day, they will act differently to what we are telling them to do. And that is it. So we don't have to force them into marriage. No. And there are some of the things that are happening these days. We will look at age. We will look at time. That child, me and her mother, we were pregnant with 2 people at the same time. Just 2 months apart. She is already married with 3 children, and you are here roaming about the street. Komateli hijack anycon. Komale muwal. I don't care. Even to bat ejokolo muwa. You can imagine. From there, that is why we have to prepare them for marriage. We have to let them know, right? Okay, now another thing I want you to understand is there are some things we can guide against. Let's say we did our best, right? And teenage pregnancy still occurred. What do you think we should do? As I tell people, ori bibe ko logun ori fifo. It has happened. It has happened. Obeti bomo lowo. Ali sobenu. But that is another failure in the part of so many parents. Because that child is now pregnant for somebody, the next thing is, and that is the mistake most of us make. You will first sit the child down. Omo, Joko. Báwo lo ṣe ṣe? How did you do it? Who did it? How come? Were you forced? Were you raped? Right? Did you go there? What were you putting on? Aṣọ wo lo wọ̀? How did you carry yourself? How did you comport yourself? All those things, we have to see into it. And you as a parent, you have to sit in a corner. I don't call parents failure. I don't. Because there are some children, you teach them, nurture them, do everything you're supposed to do. They'll still bring good thing to you. Let me not say otherwise. And there are some children that parents don't even have time for them. I want not to. You understand? So that is it. And another thing, to move in, what I'm driving at in this particular moment is when a child is pregnant and is a teenager, it has happened. It has happened. What is the next thing? Some of us, we will chase that child out. But at times, we forget that most of these issues happen to our children due to our own negligence, due to our own fault. Do we admit fault? No. Do we sit back and think, even if I cannot remember, all those things that I think they are norms, they are normal things. Oh Lord, show it to me. When you see those places, then you will see that you are even a partaker of the doom. Then when you now sit her down and you talk with her or him, because it's not every the donators where they donate. No, only he has something to answer. And some of them, when it comes to that, am I the only one? But you didn't remember those ones when you were doing it. But when it now yielded result, you want to shy away from it. You cannot. So all these things, we still got to talk to our children. That's what I keep telling people. If somebody comes to you and say your child impregnated is or her daughter, when you both say all you need to do is we will try our best. Omo, do you know him or do you know her? Yes, okay. We will keep our fingers crossed. We will do to DNA. If the person no get money, may go to Egbenusi Mike. DNA. So that you won't go too far before you realize whether you are on the right track or on the wrong track. You understand what I'm trying to say? So the next thing, is to find out. Show shame be I don't care. In as much you could not keep your tin in your trouser, in as much you could not comport yourself, You went and opened up widely. This is the outcome. So you can ask that child to do DNA. And if your child is the girl, talk to her. Make sure you don't lie on anybody, because it has to do with the life of this child, the unborn child. Made balori je. Have you thought about it? Is it only one sex partner you have? All those things, ask them. Make sure, so that you won't get disgrace. So, toba dojo la. On the naming ceremony, another set of people will not come and say, Awala lomo, kishon lo lomo. When 3 people, 3 fathers, 4 fathers will be fighting for a child, kilo de. So all those things, you will sit down, think about it, and see what next you are going to do. Then ask that girl, Abi the boy, you are going to be a father. So aside from being a father, what else do you want to become? So do you have money to take care of the children or the child coming? How are you going to get accommodation? When that child now tell you their plans and everything, then you will now sit them down. Fine, I know it has happened. It has happened. You as my child, Obìnrin, you have told me you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer. Now, do you want that pregnancy to hinder you from being a doctor or a lawyer that you want to be in the future? When that child says, no, I want to go to school. So how do you intend to cope with the child and school? You understand? Make them feel guilty of their actions. Let them know they are at fault for whatever wrong they have done. But one thing I will not allow people to do is to chase that girl out of the house. Ẹ má lé o. Yorùbá ní a kì í lé ọmọ burúkú fún ẹkùn pàjẹ́. Ẹ má lé ọmọ náà. What you just need to do is step by step interrogation, and at the same time you let that child know that kò sí bó ṣe hùn kó rí o, ọmọ mi ló jẹ́. A kì í lé ọmọ burúkú fẹ́kùn pàjẹ́. I will not wish you evil, even if I cannot bring solution to everything. I will still try my best. You are still my child, and I still love you. I believe you made a blunder of yourself. You made an error, which can still be rectified. Okay, now, it's not about you terminating or anything. It's about you having additional mouth to care for, having additional body to care for. And you must pass. Tó bá jẹ́ ìwé ló fẹ́ kà. You know, if it is iṣẹ́ ló fẹ́ kọ́, I will put you there. You have to be what you want to be in future. Don't, because of this mistake of you not waiting to get to the river before you fetch your own water, don't let it ruin your future. This cannot define what you are or who you are. It's going to be tough, but you have to take it like that. If I've been giving you 10 naira for food before, I will not change that 10 naira. It's still 10 naira I'll be giving you, and you must care for your child. But on some occasions, if I have extra, I will bring to you. Even though you know at the back of your mind that it's not only 10 naira you'll be giving. Now you have to include $4 or $5 extra. Now you have to do this. You have to be checking on the child. If they are in school, but now that you have a child, are you going to go with the child, or do you expect me to carry the child? So if you want me to carry the child, definitely you have to stay very close. You cannot say, no, you will be liable for dale. And then you let the other party know this is what is going on. Now, Omo is supposed to do this, is supposed to do that. right? Okay, even if ọmọ tiwọn does not have money to give, right? Don't, because of that, chase that child away, because you don't know what the future holds for anybody. What you just need to do is, now you have a child coming. So how do you plan? How do you intend to take care of the child? Don't think about my own child, I'll take care of it. But what do you intend giving her or him? How do you intend to take care of him or her? So when he now vomits everything he wants to vomit, you will now ask, "Iwo gangan show you? Are your parents okay? Can they fend for this and that? Because my child is not yet ready or ripe for marriage, I still want to nurture my child." So if it requires both family to sit down and iron things out, you will spit on each other's faces, so ẹjọ́ tutọ́ síra yín lójú o, but at the same time you will let them know, I am not after you and you are not after me, but I am after the well-being of this unborn child. tó yẹ pé fúnra ẹ̀ ló dúró sọ wọn lọ pé wá ni. That is it. So you let that child know pé o ti yìnbọn sílùú ńlá o, ìwọ náà wà forí kó o. And then you let that child knows, bí ìwé mímọ́ ṣe sọ pé ìwọ kò gbọ́dọ̀ pànìyàn lọ́tùn àti lósì, ìwé mímọ́ méjèèjì ló sọ bẹ́ẹ̀. So mi ò fààyè gbà wípé kó lóun lọ yọ o, tó o bá ti yọ o ti pààyàn nìyẹn o. And once you let these children know what they have done, the gravity of whatever tán ti ṣe, not that you will just come and say, Ìyá Yínká, ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọmọ yìí, mi kàn just help us so because of these children. Well, ṣàṣemáṣe kan ni na, she's pregnant. She's almost due. I will give her money. I don't have much, but she will come to your store and point at whatever she wants. At least for the unborn child, you know. Ashani Barawa. I was even thinking, Eloni Malu tie to buy now. You know, how much is cow? I don't want to do much. Maybe my cooperative society, gbọ́múlé láǹtà mi àti mi ìfẹ́ pé èèyàn kan má ju bí 100 lọ, you know. Nǹkan ayọ̀ ní pẹ́ni ọdún méjì kìnnú bí mi, it's a thing of joy. This the child is coming into the family, but at the same time it's not yet time. But that doesn't mean we should cheat that child. Don't call on one share now. Then the next thing, you start bargaining. No, why do you let it die? We just take 6 dozens of chair. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Come on, the mama lole. So now tell me, if you do that for that child, do you think tomorrow she will not come with another pregnancy? Next time, she will come with another pregnancy. Mommy, because she knows that mommy will still buy a baby. Mommy will still pay gbogbo àwọn ọ̀rẹ́. But when you don't let them answer for their deeds, that is what happens. I remember those days, they were Deeper Life family. I think there were about 5 children. First 3 were girls. So the third girl happens to be very vocal. So suddenly, I stopped seeing her outside. I didn't see her for a long time. So one day, I'm sorry, my throat is dry. I just saw her carrying baby. I was like, I saw that girl, Omo Deeper Life here, carrying baby. You didn't see her? She was pregnant, so she's the mother. I said, Cho? Yeah, she's the mother. I said, but I saw her mother falling. He said, yes. Her mom said she will not go to school that year. She will go the following year because by the time she gives birth, she will, admission would have passed. So she will go to school the following year. But what they did for her that same year, Tobimo, they made her, anytime the mom wants to buy anything in the area, they will send her with her bulging to stomach, pé kó máa fi hàn káàkiri, so that everybody will know pé ó ti gbóyún. So she will have to go and buy the pepper. They weren't buying things in the area then, but later they started buying things in the area, no more bulk, so that this girl will be coming out to buy stuff. When she gave birth, the mother will follow her. She will back that child. They will come to the junction and buy stuff. She did that on a few occasions. Then I stopped seeing her again. So one day I was asking her, deeper life and stuff like that. And I said, she has gone back to school. When her result came, that the mom was just crying, the result was even better than our siblings to the jáde in university. So they now took her to Ife. I didn't know what course she did then. But what am I driving at? Oni pe orí fífọ́, orí bíbẹ́, kọ́kọ́ ni oògùn orí fífọ́. Some parents will say, ó ti kàdé gbì. ABCD gbì, ó ti kàdé gbì. That's the end of it. Oh, no more school. Mi lè máa kó mi èèyàn kí n kó tẹran. I cannot be feeding you and be feeding your child. So now ó ti bímọ, ó ti marry nìyẹn o. Kẹ́rù ẹ lé kíkẹ́ ilé ọkọ yá. No. They gave her a second chance, which means anybody can make blunder. Anybody can make mistakes. It can happen to anybody. So what they did was they sent her back to school. And that is it. They didn't say go and get married. So when we sit down and think about all these things, we will see that most of these issues go awaya lafa. When you have teenagers and you know this teenage girl, only bulky body, very pretty, very sexy, you'll be sending her Laura Magiwa lọ́wọ́ ìyá kìíní kan at 7:30 p.m. lálẹ́. Abi you are selling paraga. Go and meet brother so. Tell him to give you my money. If he does not give you my wale, bring my money right now. That one will reach there. That will say, there's money on the TV. When you get inside, you will see a box. Just open the box, dig your hand, you will see the kiniko. Before you know it, brother titi lekunle. Abi a child that you will put market on his or her head, that you will not give her time. Pay 30 minutes, go like this and come back. Another 30 minutes, go like this and come back. You will not do that. Ọmọ wa lọ famia bí ẹ̀mí ìyá aláró. One person will now buy the whole market on her head. One person will be the only person to buy everything. Maybe 3,000, 4,000 worth of market. And then, I don't like freedom. Don't want to be free. Don't want to play. I'll pay for everything. You just come to my house. You play with me 30 minutes. Then you go back. I took it to Kinikon. I took it to Kinikon. Before you know it, a lot is happening now. There are so many people outside that are pedophiles. They are child harvester. They look for children to harvest. They don't look for adults. They don't. So you have to be careful what you send your child to do and at what time. I'm not saying if you send them during the day, they won't mess up. Don't misunderstand me. But with prayer, with oro, talking into their ears all the time, singing the same chorus to their hearing, they will try their possible best to achieve, to behave, not to mess up, not to mess around. You understand what I'm trying to say? I am not perfect though, but my own side of the view, that is exactly what I am talking about. That is exactly what I am talking about. So don't force them to be together. Now that you have this child, both of you, no, anything, anybody that child brings the first time. So what if the child brings weary? You will say yes. No. Definitely you will say, so when things like that happens, when a child gets pregnant like that, don't forcefully marry them off. They have future. One blunder, one mistake does not define them. One blunder or one mistake does not define their lives. Miracle can still happen. They can still be the best child. Those children can still be the best among all your children. So don't write them off. It's good to scold them. It's good to talk to them. It's good to point out their mistakes to them and let them see. It's good for them to answer for their mistakes. It's good to express your displeasure about what they have done. But that does not define their future. That does not define what they will become in future. A lot of homes today cannot be coupled together anymore because of one mistake or the other the children made, and you forcefully mended them together. Oh yeah, let's see, before they know, oh yeah, let's go and do marriage, so that people will not know. Well, you go to premature, will be premature. Let's think properly before we do or before we take some drastic steps, because some of them backfires. So when things like that happen, think about their future. How are they going to fend for that child? You let them know that, okay, as it is now, involve the other party. There was this story I want to tell you. It's about a girl. The girl was, I think she was 19. She just finished her WAEC. She didn't even wait for the result of the WAEC before the other results came out. Okay. When they told the guy that the lady was pregnant, the guy said no. And the mother of the boy said, let me say it in my dialect so that you can understand. Ṣé bí mo ti máa sọ fún ọ, ọmọ yóò padà rí bọ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Tọ́mọ mú gbẹ̀ǹkùlé, nígbà gbogbo ẹgbẹ́ rẹ̀ bá lọ léèwé, ó ní ọmọ gbẹ̀ǹkùlé, sọ̀rọ̀ pé wọ́n èrí ọ. That child, whenever she comes, when I've told you to let that girl go to school, you will tell her to come through the back door so that I will not see. Do you think I was not seeing you people? And I have called you several times that if this girl should get pregnant, I will not allow her parents to get rid of it. The mother was saying it. And the girl was saying, no, I'm not so, I'm not so. So they were on Emeka, and the mother of the girl now said, okay, either you are the one or you are not the one. I'll go and take care of my child. So they were taking care of the girl. So I remember that hospital. It was the same bus stop. La John share when we come down. The hospital is just by the bus stop. Then my house is by 2 houses after the bus stop. So they said they were to do scan. So they did the scan shortly before she put to bed. And because she was a small, tiny girl, she wasn't pony body, old slim. A little tall, but not that tall. So they were now telling the woman that this scan that we are seeing, you're supposed to have done this scan earlier. But at least we can see, we are seeing multiple babies. And the woman went back to those people and said, now they have done scan, only bejiloma bio. I thought I would be able to do it alone. I cannot. Ibeji npo in lagbara re. Lo and behold, when this child put to bed, she had triplets, 2 boys and a girl. If you see the way her mother was screaming, they did CS for her because the doctor said he didn't want to risk it because there were multiple babies. That was when they found out there was another tiny one at the back. She had 3 children at 19. 20, 18, 19. And the boy that impregnated her was 21. He too was home waiting for university admission before he admitted the girl. And that was it. So the mother had to go back to the family of the guy and said, show me long so they had to involve their imam at the mosque, who now came and said, no, these children are supposed to be blessing. We don't need to fight over them. That you, the parent of the boy, because they could not discharge those children, they had to pay triple money for their admission. And that was how that was solved at that time. I remember after a year or 2, I was just asking one of the nurses that how that girl say, that when the children clocked 1, that they brought them to the hospital to greet the doctor, because when they were crying that day, the doctor collected not even up to half of what they charged them. So they were now telling me that the mother had gone back for NCE at Ekpe. I said, that is it. Before you know, I have stories that I can say that I know of from the direct source. I have said one on this program before, when that girl, these people that used to pray, they said the man was going up and down on their streets and saying, you know, there will be a child. The woman said she was in her sleep. Now, lamenting that morning, láàárọ̀ Saturday, to do yẹn sùn dáadáa, they àwọn aládùúrà yóò tún ní já sùn. Say the man stood in front of their gate in the, streets àdúgbò, and was saying there will be a girl in this house. If not, she's pregnant, she's going to get pregnant, she should not get rid of that pregnancy or else she will die. Say the man was saying it. So when the man left, when the man was coming back again, he stood there and said the same thing. So they said their father was not telling, because polygamous home, the children, and the father was saying it and was pointing at one particular child. Sorry, what? And stuff like that. Not knowing that it was even the quiet type. Tiki sorrow, always ready. The mother said in the area they called her and were saying, she said when she got home and she asked the child just knelt down and started crying. I'm sorry, mama. The mother said she almost fainted. Say, and she happened to be one of the father's favorite. kò jẹ́jẹ́ wọ, that who? They said it was one boy on the same street. That one was in 200 level at, was it Unilag or something? Umawa Konimas in preparing for JAMB. And that was how they did it. When everybody, and the boy will come to their house, so everybody, nearly everybody in the house knew him. So they were like, so person have come to teach them maths again. And they will sit in the living room there and be teaching maths. Nobody knew that they were doing something else. So when the father came, the woman had to gather people in the area. That's Ilobe Baba. Baba said, no problem. Say, if you sack Ubiobati, they know. No, that. And they said when they left, the father now called the girl. As it okay, as it to be new, pack your stuff and go to those people's house. Say, so the mother said she came out to beg. But when the father went inside and brought cutlass, and the mother said she could not leave the child, so she had to follow her. Thankfully, the mother's sister was living in the second street in that same side. So she had to go and drop the girl there. And that was how the journey started. The mama said when she came back to the house, she met the man, their father, on the floor crying. That she had never seen him breaking down that way. Say, "Omoti mu bojuleti mu fokotan." O si down kule, you know. So they said the father was crying. They kubama jeomoyi. And lo and behold, the result of the JAMB came. This girl did wonderfully well. They said she scored well over 300. They had to go and beg the father again. So the mother, thank God, the mother was a bit okay. So she was going up and down. She went and rented the house very close to Akoka, Nibe. So she followed the child to Fibimo. You know, when the child was now 7 or 8 months, they now took him. And that was how they started nurturing that child. This girl finished at Unilag. Yeah, Unilag. I think she did law. And the boy too finished before her, served, started working 7 years after when she was married. You can imagine. 7 years after to be Moye when she was married. If they have chased them away and asked them to be living with each other, they will not be able to achieve that achievement. Even if it's going to come, it might be later, thing can't budget. Both of them might have even gone separate ways. So the woman was narrating how everything happened. That she even cried. Her sister was there. When she was telling the story, she cried. She said, humiliation. People in the area, they will not be pointing. Because that girl used to be one of the most quietest girl in the area. That she doesn't talk, she doesn't fight. She smiles, she greets adults, she does everything. And she was very brilliant. So the mama said it was real shame that at times people will say, I want you. Why did you throw ball into my compound? You didn't caution your child's nyash. You didn't close it well for her. She said she will cry. She will cry. This child will come and cry. The child held her leg. The moment will be about call me. That both of them will cry and cry and cry. But when her results came, she said she felt somehow relieved, but at least she was able to get the admission. And that was how this girl, the father was now telling everybody, Law lo say, law ni, very brilliant lawyer. Or call it Oba. Funniest thing, I've forgotten the place that she went to serve and do this internship, what they do, these lawyers do. They retained her in one of these big firms in Lagos because she was very brilliant. She went to a good school to comport her very well. And that was it. So I would say she made a mistake. Obulowo. And thankfully she got good parents, especially the mom, who was able to stand firm all weather for her, to make sure she didn't rush her into an unexpected, unprepared marriage. So when things like that happen, please, we should please try. It's not easy for the shame, especially ẹni tó bá lẹ́nu ọ̀rọ̀ ládùúgbò tó ti ń dá sí tí ò yẹ kó dá sí. Ẹ̀kọ́ tẹ́ ẹ ní ẹ fi kọ́ ti yín o jàre, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ẹ lọ tó lé yín náà. Shame will come, people will laugh at you, but nobody knows tomorrow. And ẹni tó ń yọ̀ tó ń fìyàn ṣe yẹ̀yẹ́ lẹ́nu does not know what is awaiting him or her tomorrow. May our children not give us disgrace. So, I hope we have learned one thing or the other for tonight. Teenage pregnancy, it might not be a palatable thing. It might not be a sweet thing. But at the same time, let's tread with care. If it happens, don't chase that child away. If it happens, don't beat the child to coma. Somebody was narrating to us, say, the elder brother, in the presence of everybody, say, GS3 ló ti gbóyún, asked her to open up. They stripped her naked in the presence of everybody. And meanwhile, their father was the landlord. Ọmọ tenant ló lóyún fún wọn. Ló fún lóyún. Ọmọ tenant was the boy. So the girl was the landlord's daughter. You know what they did? They asked her to open up. This one, nobody said them say, oh, they said her eldest brother asked her to open up. Two of them were holding her hands and legs. One full leg lójú ara on a private part. Ṣé ibo kí ló fi ṣe, ibo ló fi ṣe, ojú ara tó fi ṣe dà. They beat her. This girl said she fainted. By the time she woke up, water was everywhere. What did you do, lórí? When she was telling us, she was crying. And they still chased her out. Kolofebo boy at all costs. It's not everybody that their story is going to end like that. Some of the people on this platform knows who I'm talking about. Especially those that we grew up together. So the guy went back to school. When the guy finished, I think he finished NCE or something, he went and did a degree part-time. And he was working and asked the wife to, after about 8 years, not to be mommy. So the girl had to go and start NCE again too. She's learned how to sew. She had a shop. Then she now went back to school. But it's not everybody. Some will miss it forever. Some will miss it forever. I don't know. Na nyash they be tamo. One no for nyash. Where? So, please. Ori bibe, kologun ori fifo. There's nothing happening that has never happened before. It might not be a sweet story, but if you want a happy ending, we have a lot of work to do. May our children not be disgraced to us. At times, those children too, they didn't think it will end like that. But once it happens like that, don't give them the chance of doing something nasty. Don't give them the chance of thinking otherwise, of committing more blunders. Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Yes. You cannot predict the future of a child. You can speak into their lives. You can work towards it. You can pray. You can fast. You can talk to them. You can monitor. But everything depends on God. A lot is happening. Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́. Ẹ jẹ́ á mójútó wọn dáadáa. As I used to say, charity begins at home. So, thank you everybody for having us tonight. As usual, we always bring this to you through Thoughtful Events. Thoughtful Events is a group on Facebook. We have Thoughtful Event 1 and we have Thoughtful Event 2. If you are on 1, you are not on the second one, it's not complete. If you're on 2, you are not on the first one, it's not complete either. You have to be on both 1 and 2. Right? So I really appreciate you. Thank you very much. We come to you on Monday again for our online market squad and reality corner. We are not advertising anymore. Àwọn tó advertise ń tajà o. And those that refuse to advertise, Ọlọ́run á bẹ̀ yín náà ta o. Wọ́n ní kẹ́ wá jẹ sàárà. Ẹni ọjọ́ wọnú, ṣé epo rán ní kẹ́ mú wá ní àbíyọ̀? Wọ́n ní kẹ́ mú nǹkan kan wá ò fẹ́ ra ṣé o. Ẹni máa wá kó wá polówó ọjà rẹ̀ o. Ẹni tí ò bá dẹ̀ fẹ́ wá, ìyẹn dẹ̀ kò sí yín lọ́wọ́ o. Àwa tí ṣe ń tó yẹ ká ṣe o. Ọlọ́run á bá wa tajà o. Ara àánú gbà o. Ẹ ṣé gan ni, God bless you. Monday 7 p.m. Don't forget. Today El Nino is going to select some people for our data, and then Monday, the one we did on Monday is going to select 5 people, just 5 people for Monday. Then he's going to select some people here today, maybe like 10 people again. So I pray you are part of them. So we'll bear you the data. Ẹ̀yin la máa bá o, àwa náà la máa wá o. Thanks so very much. God bless you. I'll see you on Monday, 7 p.m. Nigerian time. Love you all. Till then, stay blessed. Oluwabi Abibusi.